pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone to the February 25th Village Board meeting. It's so wonderful to see a large crowd for the Department Officers of the Year recognition. Before we start that, we just have to make two changes to the agenda on our items of business. We are going to add an item business number 6, Goshen Schools Lease Agreement, and number 7, Quick Check Bond Acceptance. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. First item on our agenda tonight, the 2012 Village of Goshen Police Department Officers of the Year. To start this, I'm going to call up our Chief of Police, Chief James Watt.
Thank you, Mayor, Village Board, members, loved ones, friends, and dignitaries. We come here tonight to recognize 3 officers who distinguished themselves with their actions in the course of their duties for the calendar year 2012. Would Sergeant John Manna, Patrolman Basil Commendoria, and Patrolman Brandon Rabb please come forward and be recognized? I would like to read you their commendations for the actions which they're recognized this year. On September 17, 2012, at approximately 10:30 a.m., Sergeant John Manna and Patrolman Basil Commendoria were dispatched to a village resident for a report of a 90-year-old male, unconscious and not breathing. Upon arrival, they found 2 bystanders had begun CPR. Patrolman Commendoria, a New York State certified EMT, immediately deployed a department defibrillator and administered a shock. Sergeant Manna began chest compressions, while Patrolman Commendoria started rescue breathing. After a few minutes of maintaining chest compressions and rescue breathing, the patient began breathing on his own and the pulse was restored. Both members assisted in transporting the patient by ambulance to the hospital. The patient has since fully recovered and returned to his home and is in good health as of this moment. He's home right now still. Sergeant Manna and Patrolman Commendoria's skill and dedication were instrumental in saving the life of a cardiac arrest victim. Due to their swift and decisive action, the imminent loss of the victim's life was prevented and the victim is fully recovered. Sergeant John J. Manna and Patrolman Basil M. Commendoria's actions are exemplary for all law enforcement and in keeping with the finest traditions of the Village of Goshen Police Department. On behalf of the Mayor and Village Board, the Village of Goshen Police Department, and the community of Goshen, I do hereby name Sergeant John J. Manna and Patrolman Basil M. Commendoria as the Village of Goshen Police Department's Officers of the Year 2012 in the category of Life Saving Award. On September 21st, 2012, 5 businesses, including 2 county government offices, had been burglarized overnight. As one of the initial responding officers, Patrolman Brandon Rabb gathered evidence, including video surveillance of a suspect and descriptions of stolen property. While conducting a door-to-door canvass in the area of one of the burglaries, Patrolman Rabb interviewed a subject who appeared to be the suspect in the video. Patrolman Rabb recognized a tattoo on the subject's neck that appeared to be the same as on the suspect in the video. During the interview, Patrolman Rabb also recognized in the subject's apartment a T-shirt that matched the one worn by the suspect in the video, and also observed property matching the description of property stolen from one of the businesses. Patrolman Rabb immediately detained the individual, and a search warrant was executed at the individual's apartment. The search warrant yielded evidence directly linking that individual to the burglaries, and also recovered all of the stolen property from the burglaries. Patrolman Rabb also provided direct testimony to an Orange County grand jury that resulted in the individual being indicted on numerous counts of felony charges, including burglary, criminal mischief, and possession of stolen property. Patrolman Rabb's diligence and attention to detail resulted in the swift detection and apprehension of a career criminal who had gone on a crime spree in the downtown business district. His dedication to duty also resulted in the recovery and safe return of stolen property to numerous businesses, including irreplaceable, valuable artifacts from the county historian's office. Patrolman Brandon T. Rabb's actions are exemplary for all law enforcement and in keeping with the finest traditions of the Village of Goshen Police Department. On behalf of the Mayor and Village Board, the Village of Goshen Police Department, and the community of Goshen, I do hereby name Patrolman Brandon T. Rabb as the Village of Goshen Police Department's Officer of the Year 2012 in the category of Exceptional Police Duty. I'd like to now introduce Mayor Kyle Roddy, who has a certificate he'd like to present on behalf of the Village of Goshen.
First, I just want to thank all the family and friends of these fine officers for attending tonight. This truly is one of the best meetings that we have every year because it really shows the value in what this police force does. And these are three shining examples of why the Village of Goshen Police Force is the best village police force, not only in Orange County, but in the entire state of New York. And I thank each of you gentlemen on behalf of the over 5,000 residents of the Village of Goshen, the Village Board, and the Village staff for continuing to exemplify the excellence that this police force stands for. So thank you very much. That was for you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Make sure I'm not giving up the wrong ones here. Thank you very much. I think I know this one too. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'd like to now introduce our Deputy County Executive representing Orange County, James O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mayor. For those of you who don't know me, I had a great privilege of serving the residents of New York State as a trooper for 23 years. So tonight's especially gratifying for me now as your Deputy County Exec to come and honor these great police officers. It's certainly a tribute, and these type of nights is why they go out on the road day in and day out and sacrifice potentially up into including their life for our protection. I moved here in 1975, graduating from the State Police Academy, and after 11 years of living in Washingtonville, I figured out that the best police agency in the whole state of New York was right here in the Village of Goshen. So I've been living here since 1986, and I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. So it's the reason I moved here was the Village PD. Tonight, when I park my car, right on Wickham Avenue, there's a patrol car pulling somebody over, and on my ride here, there's another patrol car pulling somebody over, all right? So there's two things that I always talk about with police work, and one is the ability to solve crimes comes from three things, all right? And that's tenacity, tenacity, tenacity. And you can see these three gentlemen up here tonight were tenacious in their duties on the evenings of solving the burglary and saving that 90-year-old gentleman. But the thing that I like about the Goshen PD is crime prevention. And there's three things for crime prevention. And that's visibility, visibility, visibility. I saw that tonight. I see that every day when I wake up. I see that every day when I go home. That's a tribute to Chief Watt, who was smart enough to get out of the state police and become a chief here. You know, he didn't have to travel around the state, he stayed home. But he's a true leader, and the village board, mayor, and all the trustees, and all the previous elected officials that I've witnessed in the 26 years I lived here have done a great job in supporting these officers. So, on behalf of the county exec, who's number one priority besides finances is public safety, I have certificates of recognition for three officers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sarge, congratulations. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Before we end, I just wanted to open up to some board member comments.
Sure.
I know the board members wanted to say some words. I'm going to start with our Commissioner of Police, Edward Char.
Jimmy left. Oh, there he is. You know, much like when you moved here 25 years ago, I haven't been here quite that long, but two reasons my wife and I moved to this village. One, schools, but two, more importantly, was public safety. And you three gentlemen are just three examples of that. All of your colleagues do a great job. And I'm proud to be the police commissioner in the last 4 years, just knowing that we have incredible men on the street like you guys. So thank you very much. I don't have a certificate, but what I've got for you, just thank you. Thank you.
Obviously, I'm not the only the oldest one here. I'm the one that's lived here the longest. It's a great pleasure of working with this police department as an assistant district attorney and watching it over the years. And it is the finest police department, bar none. And that's one of the reasons why people aspire to be members of this police department. That's why we produce the kind of quality officers that we have every day. So congratulations to all of you.
Thank you. I grew up in Goshen. As a youngster, didn't always have the same affinity towards the police department that I do now. But I've gotten to know some of you guys personally, interact with you, being a member of the legal community. I'm very grateful to have you guys patrolling the streets for us. So thank you. Appreciate it.
I guess the best for last. I have the utmost respect for our police department, all the officers in it, and obviously this is kind of exemplifies what the PD actually does in actions that these officers here have taken. And to echo what the Deputy County Exec says, who I'm 4 houses up the street from, and spent the last 20-plus years living there, it is comforting to go to bed at night and to get up in the morning and know and feel well protected. And I don't think that crime is measured in statistics of how many arrests and stuff like that. I mean, I think one of the benefits is here in the village is we have few instances, because just like Jim said, you know, on his way down here, he saw a patrolman engaged in duty right there, and just the visibility and having a police force that's dedicated and spotting and out and constantly out there prevents a lot of crime. It's not a place where people want to come to Goshen to commit crimes. They choose other places. They hang in Middletown and Newburgh instead, you know. But my hat goes off to all the officers, Chief, the whole Sergeant Henderson, and Sergeant Banner, and all you guys. You're great guys. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe we just get a quick shot to the board with the officers.
You mean the short guy? Pick your battles. I can do that one.
Oh, you got a picture.
Okay. Colonel, would you come up forward, please?
Thank you very much, everybody.
Congratulations.
So we have a lot of really fun stuff on the agenda after this.
Yeah.
To hang out.
I'll leave it alone. You don't want to be here for this.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you. Congratulations. Take care.
Dick, how you doing, buddy? How's your leg?
Better.
All right.
Thank you.
Keep pushing, bud.
All right. Very nice.
Think you have to wait for me.
Oh, sure.
I can't take short. Whatever she does. Two of them.
You're joking.
All right, moving right along on the agenda. We have the minutes from the village board meeting February 11th. All right, communications, we have a retirement letter to the village of Goshen. I, Darrell Fredmore, would like to inform you that I will be retiring on April 30th, 2013. The last day of work will be April 29th, 2013. Sincerely, Darrell Fredmore. We wish Mr. Fredmore the best. Obviously, he's served this village well for a number of years, and he'll definitely be missed, not just by his colleagues in the Department of Public Works, but by the village staff and village residents that he actually interacts with on a day-to-day basis. He does a great job, and a lot of the flowers downtown that Goshen and Bloom puts out over the years and maintains. Mr. Fredmore was the one that went around and watered at times, so we wish him well. Can I have a motion to accept this resignation?
So moved.
Retirement, right? And a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just echoing your sentiment, it's a lot of years of service to our village, so, it's been missed.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Good news out of the Justice Court. Dear Mayor, Roddy, and trustees, please be informed that I have secured a grant from the Justice Court Assistance Program in the amount of $2,059.96. Grant monies are for 5 executive high-back chairs for the dais, a new judge's desk and bookcase. Unfortunately, the state denied the security package that was submitted. I have enclosed the award letter and chair specifications. Please review. I'll order the chairs, desk, bookcase, and wait until after the election. So good news, nothing we have to accept here. It's already a done deal, but just great job to Lena, our court clerk, who over the years, Lena, has done a great job of securing grants. And this is one more example of things that the village will get from the state that we won't have to expend our taxpayer dollars on. Any comments on this discussion?
No, always good when we get grants, other than that.
All right, we have 2 requests from the Goshen Soccer Club and Goshen Little League. Chris, did you want to speak to either of these?
No, I'm here in case you have any questions.
Okay, all right, great. So first, we'll start from the Goshen Soccer Club. Just to remind everyone, I believe it was about a year ago, the Goshen Soccer Club got together and they started doing some improvements at Credible Park to the soccer field, specifically with drainage. And at that time, the village gave some money, as did the town, as did Joint Rec. I believe you guys gave money last time as well, right, Trish? As did Joint Rec and the soccer club. They came with a nice proposal, and we contributed, it was probably about 25% of the cost, maybe 30%, but equal amounts to the town. So they're back again with continuation of that work. And read through right now. We propose a sharing of expenses in the next phase of fixing the drainage issue at Craigle Park. As everyone knows, the Goshen Soccer Club contributed over $29,000 to the first phase of the project. With the help of the Town of Goshen, Village of Goshen, and Joint Recreation Commission, we made a material impact on the fields last year. This year, we would like to continue our successful efforts from last year and move on to working on a joint soccer field and baseball minor league. We would like to address the drainage issues in this phase and propose the following. The Goshen Soccer Club and Joint Recreation share the cost of Project C. Total cost of $7,840 or $39.20 each. The Town of Goshen paid for the cost of Project A, $76.80. The Village of Goshen paid for the cost of B, $76.80. We hope this can be agreed upon in a timely fashion so we can take advantage of this early opportunity that weather may present. Thank you for your consideration and your continuing support of our program touches over 600 families a year. Jason Cucci, Goshen Soccer Club. I've met with the soccer representatives. They kind of walk through what the process is. I know that Rory's sitting on Joint Rec. You've had all the conversations. Anything you want to add to this?
No, I mean, well, yeah, I do actually. I said no and then I started talking. Yes, I do want to. I think that, the vision, both in the short term and the long term, I don't think you'll get much different story from Trish, is a great benefit to our community. These fields, the longer we can play on them, the better it is for our community, raise the value of property in the area. It's a win-win all around, and I think their vision is really, I think it's good going forward, so very happy.
And just from a financial standpoint, this would be money that comes from Parkland, which wouldn't come out of the general fund and the taxpayers. This is money, I think we have about over $40,000 in the Parkland fee right now. So we have sufficient revenue to be able to do this, and the next request is something similar to this as well.
If I just may add one more thing, a non-financial, just the, going off of what was done last year and the value of that, and I can speak to extending the soccer season, I think it at least sounds like almost a month's worth more of games was added based on the fact that the fields, and more fields, so more games lengthwise and more games when they were operating, so that's something I've left out.
And I believe previous years, because the fields had some challenges, we were sending Goshen games elsewhere.
Correct, and they were moving indoor earlier, which was adding additional expenses to the soccer club, so it's not, laying out this money is returning money back into the system.
Yeah, my kids are of the age that they participate, so the 2011 soccer season was essentially a washout. We ended up, Jason had to pay for indoor space, and we played more than half the season indoors, and he was able to salvage the season, but really this isn't a legal issue. But if you want to see something that works right, and works well, go to Craigville Park any morning, spring, summer, or fall. You see hundreds of kids, hundreds of families, all participating in sports, all getting along, all learning good citizens of the community, learning sportsmanship, and really, if you want to be uplifted, spend some time at Craigville Park in the spring, summer, or fall. It really would make you feel good about your community.
I'm going to ask for a motion to grant this request.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any board discussion?
No brainer.
Can't really top it, as you said. I mean, it's not a question of topping it, I just couldn't say it any better.
All right, if there's no other discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, next we have a request from Goshen Little League. Dear Trish, as per our discussion, below is an outline or scope of work that the Board of Directors for Goshen Little League is requesting to be performed prior to the 2013 Little League season. We are hoping this request can get addressed at this Tuesday's TRC meeting, which will allow us to engage a contractor to perform the work as by all agencies as soon as possible. Scope of work: Lourdes Majors Field, install French drainage starting behind third base, extending through left field foul pole towards second entrance parking lot, towards south and high in the catch basin and the field behind girls center field fence line. Boys Junior Senior Field, install French drain starting the left field pole, extending down the entire foul line towards home plate, extending into the home plate backstop through the driveway, connect to open swale behind sewer goal. Girls softball field, remove large humps between first base baseline and dugout, remove turf so that grade keeps runoff away from the field and is diverted along foul line towards right field into natural swale which drains catch basin behind center field. Cost of work: French drains $13,500. Girls softball, excavate large hump and divert water $1,500. Total for above reference work $15,000. Thank you for your consideration. Rory, do you know how much they're asking the village for?
I believe, Trish, is it 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the total cost is 15.
Yeah. 5 split
Is
among.
Joint Rec putting in, or are they putting in the 5? And
Little League's putting in 5.
Little League's putting in 5, the town of Goshen already approved to put in 5, and we would be the other 5.
Right.
Okay, so it's an equal sharing among the village, the town, and Little League. So it seems fair to me. I think it's definitely work that needs to be done out there, and the fact that Little League's kicking in some of their own revenue on top of getting the village and town to each pony up the price, I think is a winning formula. Rory, anything?
Yeah, I know, I think, the master plan and vision of the fields together, I mean, they do work in conjunction, and these aren't individual plans operating like, you know, they're all put together. So the whole Craigville Park operates very functional, and I commend the baseball because I know that they don't have, right now, they don't have the financial resources that the other programs have. They're building it up, but more games will allow them to have more finances. So again, it will refill the coffers. So it's a very good start.
I just wanted to ask a couple of questions. So, the town, for both of these projects, the one before this, I just wait, they've already signed off on it? Voted on it, okay. And then my other question is maybe Trish, you could answer, do we have somebody lined up to do this?
We are in the process of getting 3 different quotes. We have quotes that you have there, but I'm working on getting, with Little League and soccer, we're getting 2 other quotes for each of the jobs.
I mean, I fully supported 110% and, you know, spent countless hours at Craigville Park myself, from over the last 20 years plus. My just thing would be, I'd like to see a sense of urgency to get it done.
Oh, there is.
Just, you know, we throw them, you know, we do ours, and if the town did that, you know, folks just get busy and get it done so that it can be, you know, utilized this year and...
The goal is to have this work complete by the beginning of the Little League season and the spring soccer season.
Yeah, that urgency is definitely there.
Well, and I mean, if in fact, if there is some kind of a red tape that's a holdup or something, somebody let us know. But I mean, as far as our end of it goes, at least I'm just saying.
It's just that we hadn't met. Honestly, it was just that we haven't met since it was presented in this.
You're talking about we as the village board?
Yeah, the village board, since it's been presented to JRC. So,
Right.
You know, so we're moving.
Great, well then I'll ask for a motion to authorize $5,000 for this project. A second?
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. All right, items of business, abstract of vouchers. Bills as examined by members of the board were approved in accordance with abstract 2012-2013, number 11, check numbers 4976 through 5097 for a total of $209,479.08. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, engineering Greenwich Avenue sidewalks project. Doug, can you just bring the board up to speed about where we are with this project and what this resolution would enable?
Sure. You remember several months ago, the board asked us to look into extending the sidewalk basically in front of Steve Esposito's office where it ends, to where there's about 200 feet of sidewalk along Greenwich that isn't there. A portion of it's crumbling and another part was never installed. So initially the board authorized our office to do a survey, right-of-way research to see if a sidewalk could fit within the area. We have now completed that and we have survey completed. And yes, a sidewalk can be installed within that area, within the existing right-of-way. We've since that time spoken with New York State DOT to make sure they were generally okay with it. They're fine. You have to get a standard permit for working within the right-of-way, but they have no objections to the sidewalk being installed. So the next step would authorize us to proceed with the design if the board wishes to proceed with the project.
Okay. I know this is something that the board has kind of already indicated they're in favor of getting sidewalk going there, among other places, but really this should be the first step. So I guess it's just a matter of moving forward at this point. Any additional questions or discussion from the board? I'll ask for someone to make a motion on this.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? And again, this would all be covered under our sidewalk fund with the funds that we got from those developers. So again, not coming out of the general fund budget.
And is this the only area that we're addressing right now, or do we have other stuff?
At this point, this is the only area that we've had any engineering done on assessment feasibility. I think there's a number of other places that we'd like to do. This is the one that we've actually have kind of a baseline amount of data to actually start the design of the actual sidewalk. Good. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, the civil service Administrative training. Karula Gale is hereby authorized to attend the Orange County Department of Human Resources training for support staff involved in civil service administration. Training will be held Wednesday, April 10th, 2013, from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Emergency Services Center in Goshen. There will be no charge for this training. All I just want to add on top of this is that Arula does an absolute wonderful job. She's here part-time in the office, but she really has a major impact on, helping the day-to-day operations. And I think she's really just a phenomenal employee to have here. Can I have a motion on this?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Can't beat the price of free. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. A letter here from our building inspector about a seminar. Building Inspector Theodore L. Lewis III is hereby authorized to attend the Hudson Valley CEO Educational Conference to be held April 17, 18, 19, 2013 at the Poughkeepsie Grand Hotel in Poughkeepsie, New York. The cost for this mandatory in-service training is $300. And as the resolution there says, it is mandatory training and he has to accumulate certain hours over the year. Can I have a motion on this?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we have a settlement with Greek Mountain Dairy. David, do you want to speak to this briefly for the board?
Sure. Greek Mountain Dairy, I think as all you know, is the Sorrento factory. We had some issues before Greek Mountain Dairy was up and running. We actually had prior litigation that was settled. What happened is once they started operations, we billed them for their first 4 months. That bill came out to about $27,188 for 4 months. An average monthly consumption in the sewer treatment plant of an average of 3,857 gallons per month. Greek Mountain thought that was high. They have a short statute of limitations, so they sued us to protect their rights. And then we entered into settlement negotiations, which have been kind of protracted, but as a result, that's been helpful because we have a year under our belt, and we can see that what the use has been in the last year. And it's important to note 2 things happened during this 4-month period. Number one is we discovered that the meter was not properly functioning, had to be recalibrated. Number 2, Greek Mountain performed a lot of work on site to remediate some I&I issues that they were having. The result is for the last year, the average monthly consumption went down from 653,857 gallons to about 160,000 gallons. So a substantial decrease, which we think, they reduced some I&I, but there's also a problem with the meter. So they had to pay the bill in order to sue us. So what we've done is, or what I'm recommending to the board is, we compromised by reducing the bill from $27,188 to $10,000. Now that $10,000, just so I have, for comparison's sake, the first quarter of 2012, the bill was $3,800. The second quarter was $4,600. The third quarter was $2,800. The fourth quarter was $4,700. So there's still a recognition of a bump for the I&I that came through the system, but we do need to recognize the meter wasn't properly functioning, and they spent a fair amount of money, and I've confirmed that with Mike MacDonald. I was also authorized to speak directly to TAM, because TAM was authorized to do the I&I remediation, and they confirmed that they did a lot of work out there and they reduced the I&I. So I think we want to give them some recognition for doing that work, because it lessens the burden on our sewage treatment plant, but we also need to recognize the meter wasn't properly functioning. So the idea is to reduce the bill from $27,000 to $10,000. The $17,000 credit is going to be realized over the next, however many number of bills it will be to reach $17,000. So they won't have a sewer bill, but the sewer bill will be zero. We'll track the usage. When that reaches $17,000, they'll have to pay again. Discussed it with the mayor, discussed it with Mike Nuzzles, discussed it with Courtney, and they've reviewed and approved the settlement stipulation.
I'm going to read through the resolution, ask for motions, and then open up to discussion. If the board members have any other questions. Whereas Greek Mountain Dairy has heretofore commenced litigation against the village concerning the sewer bill issued in or about February 2012 by the village regarding the property owned and operated by Greek Mountain Dairy located at 13 Dykeman Drive, whereas the parties have reached an amicable resolution of the issues, which the resolution is embodied in terms of the certain settlement stipulation, which is annexed here too, and whereas the village board deems it in the overall public interest to settle this litigation pursuant to the terms of the attached statement stipulation, now therefore it is hereby resolved that the village board hereby authorizes the settlement as outlined in the attached stipulation settlement, and authorizes the mayor to affix a signature hereto. Can I have a motion on this?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion or questions for David?
I should add too, no legal fees to the village, because basically they wanted to protect themselves against the statute of limitations. They filed the lawsuit, they were pretty clear with me that they did not want to litigate, they wanted to settle, and I was able to handle this under my retainer, but we didn't end up in court, it's all been handled through settlement discussions, so there's no legal fees to the village board on this issue.
And we appreciate it.
Mayor, just going forward, I mean, obviously, settlement negotiations they don't create a precedent with anything.
If we had a situation where the meter wasn't working, I think anytime you have an issue with the accuracy of the meters called into question, that if you go to court and the judge says the meter worked and you say no, I think we had a similar situation, there would be some precedential value, recognizing that the meter was not properly functioning.
Sure.
I think what's unique here is the meter issue and the fact that they did spend a lot of money to mitigate some I&I, which is a benefit long-term to the village.
Okay. Well, I certainly trust you on it, I just was making sure that,
Sure, no, it's a good question, good point.
which we can take credit for with New York State.
Correct.
Well, my question, the $10,000, the $17,000 that they get in credit, does that have anything to do with the surcharge? Or is that just straight, that's
No,
the...
they're actually different because they have a sewer meter,
Okay.
okay?
Industrial use.
Because they're an industrial
Okay,
user.
right.
So,
On the surcharge.
They pay an assessment.
They pay an
They also
assessment.
have a sewer meter though.
yeah, so no, they still have to pay the assessment because there's no forgiveness of the water bill. They still have
Okay,
to pay
so
the water
that's
bill.
separate bill.
That's correct.
Okay.
This is just metered sewer.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Two additional things that we added here. First is the agreement between the Village of Goshen and the Goshen School District. This is something that's been in existence for a number of years. Basically, this is what allows the village to pick up the school district's garbage, and in turn, the school district pays us money every year that we accumulate to ultimately purchase a garbage truck down the road. I'll read through the resolution. This agreement made February 25th, 2013, by and between the Village of Goshen with an office for doing business at 276 Main Street, Goshen, New York, heretofore referred to as the Village, and the Goshen School District with an office for doing business at 227 Main Street, Goshen, New York, whereas the Village, through its Department of Public Works, has collected garbage and refuse from the residential establishments within its municipal boundaries, and whereas the School District desires to have the Village pick up garbage and refuse from its school facilities, and whereas the parties hereto have arrived at an agreement concerning the terms and conditions under which the village will pick up the garbage and refuse from the school district. And therefore, in consideration of the mutual premises and covenants herein set forth, and for the good and valuable consideration of the village and school district agrees as follows. Term, the village agrees to pick up garbage and refuse 3 times per week according to the village's Department of Public Works schedule for a period of 3 years, effective July 1st, 2013. Cost, the fee for this pickup will be $39,500 for the first year per annum, $40,000 for the second year per annum, and $4,500 for the third year per annum. The aforementioned shall be paid quarterly in advance. Tipping costs, it is understood and agreed that the fee for this service is predicated upon tipping fees at Orange County Transfer Station, being $80 per ton. Dumpsters, the Goshen School District shall furnish at its sole cost and expense dumpsters compatible with the village's refuse pickup equipment, and the village shall have no responsibility for furnishing the dumpsters or maintaining them. School district employees, the district shall have one of its employees available at 7 a.m. 3 times per week to assist the village personnel in retrieving the garbage. This employee shall be available 3 days per week at the same time and place determined in advance by and between the school district and the village. School district shall maintain all statutory insurance for this employee, including workman's compensation insurance, and shall maintain liability insurance from its existing carrier, naming the village as an additional insured in the sum of at least $1 million. Type of refuse, no toxic substances. It is understood and agreed that the school district shall only deposit in its dumpsters garbage and refuse that has been generated from school businesses and appropriate for dumping at Orange County Transportation or Northern Recycling, Waste Management. The school district shall not in any way include within its garbage toxic waste, toxic materials, medical waste, needles, chemicals, paints, insecticides, or other harmful or obnoxious substances which are not permitted in the landfill. School district's employees' private garbage shall not be included in pickup. It is understood the terms of the parties hereto may elect to renew this agreement beyond its current terms. In that event, the village and school district shall agree upon the yearly cost for said pickup and shall in addition include all terms of this agreement and any future contract, including but not limited to the school district's obligation to assume any increase in tipping fees throughout the term of this agreement. Can I have a motion on this?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I got a question. Read something, make sure my question isn't already answered in here, so give me 1 second. All right, well, in paragraph 3, it talks about that I assume the costs that were established in part 2 were based on 80 per ton. What happens if it goes up? It doesn't really say in here. What if it goes up? I mean, it goes up.
Yeah, no,
I think it might be an 8, but.
it's an 8.
All the way at the end, it does stipulate something that
Tipping fees.
it's understood that the agreement parties here too may elect to,
Well, it talks about renewing it beyond its current terms. It doesn't talk about what if within the 3-year period of time, because I don't think it says that, what would happen. Let's say tipping fees went up 50%.
I don't think that's...
Yeah, well, I guess you're correct, because it talks about any future contract. I can tell you this, that this is the contract we've had in effect for 10 years, so...
I mean, it does say, it says it's predicated upon the tipping fees being $80 per ton, so if they go up, then basically that part of it is, it makes it somewhat avoidable.
But what's the what if? Doesn't say then what happens.
What would you like to have happen?
That it adjusts.
Gotta talk about how it might adjust.
I mean, that burden, if that burden is, if it, the benefit of this bargain is that it's $80 and that changes, then that's not the same contract we signed up for.
No, but that's a different material term than we've had in the past 10 years. That would be subject to negotiation with the school district. I understand your point, but you have to go back to the school district and negotiate that.
What are the odds it's going to change over the next 3 years?
I mean, it would
Very unlikely.
well, what's it, if it changes and becomes lower?
Right.
It's in the same,
I think that it's pretty much flat. There hasn't been a change, at least since the 4 years I've been on the
I
board.
mean, really, the only way to hedge that without having it tied into, if it goes to 81, it goes up. If it goes to 79, it goes down, is to have a short-term contract. That's the other hedge, to have a 1-year contract instead of a 3-year contract. I can tell you the problem with a 1-year contract, is that no one remembers until 18 months from now that the contract ran out.
I mean, is it feasible that there could be something reworded in there that says it's predicated on the fact that of $80 a ton, and should it exceed $80 a ton, that the additional cost would be...
Well, you're asking, is it reasonable to ask that? And the answer is, of course. Will the school board agree to that? That I can't answer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not concerned about $1. I'm thinking more like...
I just given that.
I'm thinking, I'm the one who said 81 before, but
What if
it changed by, say, something, we figure out a percentage, maybe it went up 10%, then something might kick in, or went down 10%, I mean...
what is the normal tonnage that gets, I mean, I don't know.
Mike would know. I don't know the answer to that.
I mean, just to quantify, we're talking $40,000, so an upswing, isn't gonna make a huge impact, because just based on the history of tipping fees, there's no historical precedent for those upswings, or downswings for that matter. There's really been no discussion of that. I just, from my perspective, this is what's been working. Well, I believe that the district might have voted already on it. Certainly we can, if there's a major issue with it, we can bring it back to them and say...
If there's a major uptick or downtick, the contract would, it basically would not be the same contract that was signed, and you could represent it. If there's, sign up for...
That's my point.
Yeah,
I think this
it's just
takes account into those things. If this was, I think because it's a community partner, I don't think we have to worry about anything on the other side where they wouldn't take that into consideration if there was an uptick that changed it. Because if it's predicated $80 a ton, and then it goes up, then the contract would basically be void. I would assume that we'd have to change the numbers and the wording, I would imagine.
When we have, the term starts July 1.
I was gonna say, maybe the question could be asked, but no.
Yeah, I mean, we have 4 months before this term starts. You know, I know that we want to get a contract in place, obviously, but I just don't know the tonnage. I don't want to be like harping on something, but find out that the tonnage is a lot. You know, if we're doing 3 pickups a week there, and, you know, that's probably a significant amount of garbage. And if it, I have no gauge of it, I'm just saying,
Right.
for me, it just seems.
I would just echo what the mayor said. It ain't broke, don't fix it, it's been working very well for a long period of time.
I just can't help thinking this is what happens when you have 4 attorneys.
I mean, the reason that the school district is, because the school district is doing their budgeting now, because their budget period is coming up, and they're trying to put everything together just like we are. So if the majority of the board really wants to wait on this, I would at least ask that we vote on defining the numbers based on this, so the school district has something in writing from us guaranteeing what the numbers are going to be for their budgeting purposes, if the board wants to go in that direction anyway.
That's not the way I'd like to go. I'd like to approve it the way it's been going for the last 10 years, and if we want to revisit this 3 years from now and rework it, but, you know, I don't see the chance of it going up dramatic amount. It's been $80 for quite some time. And like you say, they're a community partner.
And I guess the other thing is, I mean, we do have that provision in here that says it's predicated on the tipping fee being $80 per ton. I mean, if it got up to $95 per ton, I'm just picking a number, we could say, you know what, we can't afford to do this anymore. Or we just wouldn't pay the garbage up.
I mean,
Unless they agree to, you know, to meet us somewhere halfway.
Yeah, I mean, I only vote if there's a tie, but I agree with Trustee Stewart on this. You know, I'd hate to nitpick and push it back in a few weeks, have them have to re-vote, and if they've already voted on it, I'm not sure if they have, but that's just my opinion. So we've had, I believe, a motion and a second, right, Meg?
Yes.
So I'm going to call for a vote on this, and if it doesn't pass, then that's fine. If it does, then that's fine too. So, any other discussion before I do so? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, all against?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay. So, what direction would the board like to take then?
I just want to answer that one question, I think, same as George is saying. We may be talking, even if it went up $5, we could be talking about really not a lot of money, because depending on the tonnage, of course. And I just want to see something that, like, if it went up. And I'm not worried about $1. It's not that, you know, pick a percentage. If it went up 10%, if it went up 15%, something else significant is all I'm concerned about.
It's like a requirements contract, and if the requirements or output change, that's my concern. I just don't know what I'm dealing with when I'm agreeing to the terms. I agree it's nitpicking, don't want to, you know, grandstand against a community partner, so I am concerned about that, and I certainly see your point, and it hasn't been, you know, it ain't broke, don't fix it, but I see no reason not to do the due diligence with the timing we have. I certainly know that the school board would do that to us. So, and I don't mean that to us, but would look at every penny, so.
Yeah, we want to pick up their garbage, I want to be clear. It's not about not picking up their garbage, just want to make sure the village has the right protections, that's all, you know, in the event.
I mean, we could maybe, I don't know, I don't even know how to put a motion on the floor that's contingent upon something, because again, I don't know what the ton, you know, you alluded to maybe we can do something contingent.
I just would like to give them clarity in their budgeting.
Well, I think,
Well,
I'm sorry. I just don't think it's that big of a deal to get clarity to it. I mean, and we work it into the next meeting.
Well, I guess the issue is, we say if it goes up, I'm going to pick a figure, if it goes up more than 10%, they have to pay the difference, they have to pay the uptick. Okay? What if they say no?
They got to find somebody else to pick up their garbage.
Well, we lose $40,000 in
We'll deal
revenue.
with that if they say no.
Well, yeah.
Let's see.
It costs us $40,000 to pick up their garbage.
Nah, I don't know about that, and the other thing is we get a brand-new garbage truck out of it, so that's gonna throw a monkey wrench in. Brand-new garbage trucks are very expensive.
Basically, this is where this kind of came from, because, you know, this agreement was kind of cooperative between Mayor Wall and myself back in 2003 or 2004. That was the cost of a garbage truck, or a used garbage truck back then. That's where the genesis of this was, and you know, you guys get the votes. But if I could make a suggestion, you may want to do this for a year. All right, that would allow the mayor to go back to the superintendent, because nothing's gonna change in a year.
Well, I was gonna suggest that.
And then, so then now we have a contract for a year, and then we can explore this issue of the uptick in the tipping fee. It's not as if we don't have a contract.
Yeah, you were concerned about giving them some clarity in their budgeting, and I'm all with you. I think it would be safe to say that the amount of money we set forth here in year one would probably be a safe amount. I just want to have something in place. What if?
We bought a garbage truck body last year for $70-something thousand, and that's just the body.
10 years ago.
No, we bought it last year.
So I'm saying when this.
But I'm just saying, so that was just the body.
over the years.
That's correct.
Yeah, this number has.
But that was the idea when this contract was put together
Right.
10 years ago.
I just don't lead anyone to believe that the number's been flat for
Yeah,
that.
I-
There's been annual
correct,
increases based on increases
Sure.
of gasoline and fuel and stuff like that.
Sure.
That's why you see in this, the number goes up 500 every year because of the increases in fuel and cannabis. So, okay, so if someone wants to make a motion on a 1 year, just changing this to 1 year, that's fine.
I'll make-
Whatever the board's pleasure is.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion?
Can you just that it's we're operating on year one of what this contract says, we're striking years 2 and 3, leaving the rest as is.
Correct.
Okay. No more discussion from me.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We have the quick check bond acceptance. So they're done. David, you just want to kind of give the board a brief summary on this?
Go ahead, Dave.
Okay. I guess Quick Check wants to open. So
What a surprise.
they're not in a position because of the weather to finish paving the parking lot, whatever else needs to be paved. So they've asked the village to allow them to post what they call a performance guarantee. It's essentially a bond. They're estimating it's going to cost $22,297.60 to complete. They're proposing a performance guarantee or a cash bond in the amount of $26,757.12. I understand the building inspector's recommended this. He's indicated to me that Langton Tully has reviewed and recommends this as well.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess the question that I have, but I don't know the answer to, is when do we think that they'll complete the paving? Because I don't want the bond to last forever.
This, I believe, is for a temporary CO.
This is for a temporary CO, correct?
So you can predicate it on issuing a CO. I would think, everything they've outlined would be done in the spring or early summer at the latest.
Well, it says on the front here, it says it's currently being scheduled for March 15th.
Yeah, well, everybody says that because that's when the blacktop plant's open.
Right.
Basically, they have to put top coat down, and they also have landscaping, which you have a separate performance bond for. So that's why I'm saying 6 months from now would probably be a realistic time when everything would be.
It's my recommendation that you put an out date on it.
Okay.
Okay?
Would your recommendation be that out date would be 6 months?
Yeah, 6 months is plenty of time.
I mean, is it one of those things where make out
In terms of how long they're gonna have to keep people out of the parking lot once they pave.
Oh, no, they'll be right back again. No, they're gonna, as soon as it warms up, they're gonna be paving.
But I mean, if it's a question in my mind, I'm open, I got people coming in, they're parking, they're getting coffee, they're getting gas, then I gotta kick them out to pave. How long?
You're not gonna kick them out. What you're gonna do is rope off a certain area and pave that, just like you would do a road and you go. So they're not gonna close to repave. They're gonna just close down a portion of the parking lot. So, six months is plenty of time for.
I just missed that. They're gonna open the place before they pave the parking lot?
It's top coat. It's paved
It's not
now.
done.
If you remember, pavement comes in many types, but 2 types, which is a binder
Right.
and then a top coat. The top coat you cannot place until the temperature is 50 degrees and rising.
Right.
It doesn't happen now. So what they're gonna do is get a temporary CO, so allow them to open, and they're gonna bond to the village board saying, here's our guarantee that we're gonna come back and put top coat in when the weather permits, which would be in the spring.
They're gonna open it up with just the bonding base and
The
then...
binder base, yeah.
Which is not unusual for any type of store of this. We've done it with, well, not in this town, but we've done it with Walmarts and CVS's and everybody else. It's not unusual.
But it'll still be better than the CVS parking lot.
It'd be 100% better than that parking lot, yes. It's smooth, it's flat, no bumps, no holes.
No, Hugo's disappearing.
Yes.
Please, what would be the verbiage of the resolution?
So it would be resolved to accept the performance guarantee in the amount of $26,757.12 by form of cash. It could be a certified check payable to the Village of Goshen to ensure installation of the final course on the Quick Check parking lot. All work to be completed on or before August 31, 2013.
Can someone make that motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I mean, I gotta trust you guys on this. I don't really know if it's something that's normal course of action, then I'm for it, but.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it's normal, it depends on the time of year. I mean, you can say the Quick Check can't open until you have, until your site plan is complete.
You know, are we, cutting off our nose by our face by not letting a business open when we're trying to open businesses just on a parking lot thing? I don't know.
Well, this is letting them.
No, that's what I'm saying, whatever.
Yeah, if we
The
were to vote
opposite of cutting
no,
off your nose by your face.
if we were all to vote no, or we'd be defeated, they would not be able to open.
Okay.
I don't think there'd be any benefit.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure I understood the be-all, end-all for
Yeah,
this.
just so they can open on Monday.
There's no discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Trustee comments, Trustee Brady?
I touched on most of my joint recreation duties, but I do want, while we have Trish in the audience, I do want to commend her efforts. You don't have to turn the camera around to her, Joel. I know it's people. Patrick's Parade Committee. It was a great event, raised over $700 for the food pantry, and I will not get into the results of the game, but the good guys won. That's all I got.
Trustee Stewart?
Very brief report. Crew's been out cold patching on a regular basis. The mechanic shop has been performing maintenance to police vehicles and our plow trucks.
Trustee Charter?
I will get into the game and commend Jason Kidd at the end of the day up there, who knows how to drive the lane with 5 seconds left and dish off for the winning three-pointer. Great event, though, in all seriousness. Raised a lot of money for people who are very much in need. In terms of the police department, well, I think we laid it all out about an hour ago, so I have nothing to add on that one. Thank you.
Trustee Smith? No. All I'll say is I want to commend the Goshen Fire Department, who last week there was a major car flip over off of 17 where the car actually landed upside down in some of the water by the highway. The woman was literally up to her neck in freezing water, and the fire department and the police responded first. Their equipment wasn't really made out for this type of rescue action. The fire department got there very soon afterwards, was able to get the woman out, and she survived and is doing very well. So I just want to commend the fire department for a job well done, and they literally saved life that day. Awesome. Citizen comments. Neil.
I think it was just about a year ago, the village board agreed to name a street after Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and I was curious, what's the status of that?
It's in the ballpark for the Ecumenical Council. I believe they were going to kind of look at the options if they wanted to pursue that connector road or if they wanted to pick another street. And we kind of laid out to them what the options were, the feasibility of both those routes. And I think they were going to talk internally and get back to us. So I haven't heard back from them recently. Unless they feel otherwise, then maybe we just need to connect.
Would it be inappropriate for the village to just move forward and go ahead and name a street?
I think because they were pretty motivated and they approached as a group and they were behind it, I wouldn't want to sidestep that. I want to bring them in the process, and it's something that I don't know what their schedules are, if it's hard to meet, or they might even have made a decision and I might not even be aware of it. So I really can't comment on that, but no, I don't think it's something that the village would take without consultation from that group.
So they haven't been in touch with you since then?
I don't believe I've had anything formally, but again, I could be mistaken, and maybe they're waiting on me and I just don't even realize it, so don't quote me on that.
So if they don't get back in touch with the village board, will the village board just proceed without naming a street after?
I really can't speculate on future action at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Any other citizen comments?
Yeah.
As I have periodically, I'd like to request a list of the litigations in which the village is involved currently.
I mean, what I can speak to is presently with the settlement of the Creek Mountain Dairy. I am not personally involved in any litigation. I believe, absent tax certs, there are 4. One is a personnel issue. Our labor attorney has in the past instructed us not to use the name of the person that's involved, so I'm not going to use that name. But that is a labor or personnel issue that's being handled by outside counsel. There are 3 other property damage claims that go back to the Hurricane Irene and Tropical Storm Lee, and they are all being handled by insurance companies appointed and paid for, by attorneys appointed and paid for by the village insurance company.
Could you name them?
You know what they are, Joe. Right, so I don't know why you need to
Actually,
name them.
I'm only aware of one of them, as far as what you're referring to as...
And which one is that?
Stellato.
Okay, so you know that one. So the other is the homeowner on, I believe the name is Masella, and then Shoup, I believe is the other name.
I didn't realize that they were litigating that last one. And the other one is the one on North Church and Wickham?
That's correct.
Thank you, Mr. Donovan. One other thing on that, the personnel matter, can you identify the department?
Not without Labor Council saying it's okay. I mean, they've instructed us in the past not to use the name, so I think that...
Can't comment on it at this point.
Okay. And that you said that's just one suit there, the labor suit?
As far as I know,
Right.
correct.
Other communities at this point are beginning to advertise the availability of preliminary budget documents. What is the deadline for the preliminary budget under law, and when can we anticipate the posting of a preliminary budget?
I don't know what the state law deadline is off the top of my head. We're going to be prior to it. I would imagine you probably already know the state law deadline.
I don't.
Okay.
That's why I was asking.
We're going to have that, I would imagine, by the first, maybe second week of March. Probably usually needs to be submitted around the 3rd week of March. But I'm meeting with department heads currently, assembling something, and then we'll be putting that together and talking about it as a board in an upcoming work session.
Okay, I guess that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to ask for a motion. Any other citizen comments? I'm going to ask for a motion to go into executive session to discuss employment history of a particular employee with no intention of doing business after we return.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
One more, all right? Hurry over now, get the church.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Like Dr. said.